Hi, I'm Vibrine Samuels and welcome back to another episode of Soul Stirring Astrology, where I give you my textured take on the world of astrology. Today we have a fabulous lunar eclipse that's taking place in the air sign of Libra. So for the next 6 months we've got this energy, and it's about closing down one section of our lives and opening up to another. And the signature under this lunar eclipse is about uncovering those aspects of yourself that you truly know are getting in your own way. And so the key question through this next 6 months is, do you block your own blessings? And so it's about removing the shackles, unveiling yourself and going to those places where you know that you're trapped or you're caught or you compromise yourself in a way that's very unhealthy. Now, the lunar eclipse is opposing the Sun, which is conjunct Mercury, and that's in Aries. So the access over this next 6 months is this sense of the lunar eclipse being in Libra, and that's about relating, it's about the collective, it's about harmony, love and balance, versus this sense of being in Aries, so it's about the Martian energy, wanting to move forward, a sense of individuality and independence. Now, given that the actual moon energy is in Libra, so this sense of love and self-worth, and the only way that you're really able to get that is if you're able to give that to yourself first. But let's step back into mythology to give you a sense of what this dynamic actually means. So we have Aphrodite, and she is the Greek goddess, and apparently, as mythology has it, that she is a motherless goddess. And so she is the daughter of Uranus, who was castrated and thrown into the ocean. Now, that's where Aphrodite was born. Now, when she was born, she was faced with a conundrum. And basically, she was faced with, does she live within the world of feelings and emotions and the unconscious and being submerged in water, i.e. remaining in the ocean? Or does she rise up and take her first breath, and as she does that, there's a recognition she's now in the air energy, and what this translates into is about logic and reason and being able to validate with facts and figures and being very scientific. And so obviously she rose up, she took her first breath, and Libra is associated with an air sign. But you must never forget that actually underpinning all of that is this sensitivity that Aphrodite lived with, but it's what we all live with, this sense of, you know, we want to connect with other people and we also want to be ourselves. So if you have Libra rising, or if you're a Libran, or just during this lunar eclipse that's taking place in Libra, what you might begin to discover is, for example, you might find you're in a place where you actually see that you have dependency type of relationships, or you're the sort of person who is always compromising, you know, taking account of the views of the collective, which is important, but not to your detriment. And so this time, the lunar eclipse will reveal to you if you have any of these issues that you're contending with. And the illumination is about you need to own who you are and be able to show up with the collective. So if we look at the opposing sign, we have Aries. And so, as I said, Aries is about this Martian energy wanting to be first. And in order for you to bring about the positive attributes of Libra, which is about love and relationships and harmony, the key question here is about, you know, are you in relationship with yourself? And if you are, is it a positive relationship or is it a negative relationship? You know, essentially, would you marry yourself? And if you would think, no way, then that's an indication that you know what's lurking underneath those rocks for you to unearth and to deal with. And looking at the Arian energy will give you an indication that if you go to that place where you are self-loving in a confident way, not in a narcissistic way, but actually if you're unable to love yourself, then why would you expect other people to do it for you? We also have Uranus, which is in Aries. It's not conjuncting in the same way that the Sun and Mercury are, but Uranus is about individuality. Uranus is about breaking free. And so to access this sense of love and romance and harmony and compassion, you have to go into the Aries arena and contend with yourself, whereby you're able to anchor yourself in who you are, to be proud of who you are, to claim who you are, and then move back out into the world to connect with other people. So if you're somebody who is struggling with this sense of, being the people pleaser, you want to try and find ways where you can ground the Arian energy. And so it could be in practical ways. You might decide to take up an assertiveness training course or martial arts. And it's interesting, over the last few weeks, I've had several conversations about martial arts. I used to do martial arts way back in the day and loved the whole activity and exercise and the fact that it brings self-mastery, self-understanding. But actually, martial arts might be a way for you to ground yourself in that Arian energy. It could also be about taking part in competitive sports, or it might be a sense of where you're really looking through the eye of your own needle and you recognise, I do compromise myself, or you recognise I am in a dependent type of relationship but it doesn't make me feel good. You now may have the courage, because you've connected with the Arian energy, to seek therapy or counselling where you're beginning to reconcile what those differences are so that you're able to bring inner harmony to yourself. Another aspect that's taking place that surrounds this lunar eclipse is that we have Venus, which is conjuncting Neptune in Pisces. So Venus here is in a very powerful sign, but it's also squaring. It forms part of a T-square where you have Venus, Saturn and Jupiter. So where we're dealing with the square between Venus and Saturn, here there may be feelings of disappointment or disillusionment within relationships, or it could be a sense of, you may experience yourself as somebody who's always trying to people please within relationships. Now that we have this lunar eclipse taking place, what you're seeking to do here is to connect with what you truly value and move away from the Arian side, the Libran side of objectivity, and go back into the water side, as I was indicating with Aphrodite, and move back into your feelings and your emotions and your perceptions. And now that we have this lunar eclipse, it's about beginning to trust those feelings. Identify what it is that you truly believe in and you value and you love, because once you're able to do that, then you're able to own that, and then you're able to give that to other people. A lesson here is, given that it's a Venus and Saturn, and whatever Saturn comes into contact with, it contracts and it reduces. And so you might begin to learn about, well, how do you actually begin giving in relationships with no strings attached, just giving, because there's this full recognition that we live in a world of reciprocity. So for you to grow into your Venus, to grow into this harmony, you have to learn to give and to share with others, and that will then resonate deeply within your relationships. Now the other side of the T-square is that we have Jupiter squaring Saturn. Jupiter wants to be fabulous and shining and living very positively, expansively and abundantly, whereas Saturn again wants it to be very controlled and restricted. And what you might find is, with this square, there's an oscillation that takes place between feeling very pessimistic, which is the Saturnian side, and then feeling very optimistic, which is about Jupiter. Now, with this lunar eclipse, what you're seeking to do is to build faith in yourself, to build faith in your new identity, to have confidence. It's about finding this middle road, this path, the middle way, the third way, where you can really become far more congruent. The other aspect that is taking place is that there's Mars, and Mars is forming a sextile to this lunar eclipse, and that's a very positive energy. So we have Mars, which is about assertion, confidence, taking action in the right direction, in your future direction, in your philosophies and your ideals, because Mars is in Sagittarius. And with the sextile to the moon, it's about being honest about your feelings and what it is that you want and what you're trying to cultivate and bring to life in this world. And it's also forming a trine to the Sun and Mercury, which is in Aries, and Mars rules Aries. So it's a very congruent aspect whereby it's about being true to your emotions and being true to your core identity. And what you're aiming to do over this next 6 months, and then to continue that through your life, is about being honest. Ask for what it is that you want. Now, not in a petulant sort of way, but it is about being honest, because you've tuned into who you are, you've connected to your Venusian energy, and you're now confident to ask for what you want. And in asking for what you want, you're seeking to engage the other person, and also recognizing they may share in what it is that you're asking for. You then may recognize that they don't, but actually that's okay, because they have their own desires and wants and needs that they wish to fulfill. And what the two of you are trying to do is to find this middle ground, is to find and strike that balance between that Jupiter energy as well as the Saturn energy, which is trying to bring harmony into your world. So that's it for this week. We've got this wonderful lunar eclipse. It wants you to find harmony, but it doesn't want you to project that responsibility onto other people. It does want you to unearth those areas that make you feel uncomfortable, or you are embarrassed about or ashamed of, because it's about breaking free of that. The lunar eclipse wants you to polish that inner diamond so that you're sparkling in life. And the quote I want to leave you with this week is from George Bernard Shaw. And what he said is that life isn't about finding yourself, life is about creating yourself. So that's it for this week. I hope you spend time exploring over the next 6 months how you actually create yourself. You don't have to go away and find yourself. It's about constructing the identity that you feel most comfortable with, that's really authentic, but enables that diamond inside to shine out. So if you like this episode, feel free to share it with other people in your network. You can like and subscribe, or you could leave a comment in the comment box below, and I look forward to speaking to you again on the next episode.